Feeding time. While the giants were being captured, a tremendous pestilent hustle was going on back home in England. Every earth digger and mechanical contrivance in the in the country had been mobilized to dig the colossal hole in which the 9 giants were to be permanently imprisoned. The 1,000 men and the 10,000 machines worked ceaselessly through the night under powerful arc lights, and the massive task was completed only just in time. The hole itself was about twice the size of a football field and 500 feet deep. The walls were perpendicular, and engineers had calculated that there was no way a giant could escape once he was put in, even if all 9 giants were to stand on each other's shoulders. The topmost giant would still be some 50 feet from the top of the hole. The 9 giant carrying helicopters hovered over the massive pit. The giants, one by one, were lowered onto the floor, but they were still trussed up, and now came the tricky business of releasing them from their binds. Nobody wanted to go down and do this, because the moment a giant was freed, he would be sure to turn on the wretched person who had freed him and gobble him up. As usual, the BFG had the answer. I has told you before, he said. Giants is never eating giants. So I is going down, and I shall untie them myself before you can say Rag Jobinson, with thousands of fascinated spectators, including the Queen, peering down into the pit. The BFG was lowered on a rope. One by one, he released the giants. They stood up, stretched their stiffened limbs, and started leaping about in fury. Why is they putting us down here in this gobsledging hole? They shouted at the BFG. Because you is guzzling human beings, the BFG answered. I is always warning you not to do it, and you is never taking the teachest bit of notice. In that case, the flashlamp beater bellowed, I think we is guzzling you instead. The BFG grabbed the dangling rope, and he was hoisted out of the pit just in time. The great bulging sack he had brought back with him from Giant Country lay at the top of the pit. What's in there? The Queen asked him. The BFG put an arm into the sack and pulled out a gigantic black and white striped object, the size of a man. Snozzcumbers, he cried. This is the repulsant Snozzcumber Magister, and that is always going to give these disgusting giants from now on. May I taste it? The Queen asked. Don't, your Magister, don't, cried the BFG. It is tasting of truck filth and pig squabble. With that he toasted the Snozzcumber down to the giants below. There's your supper, he shouted. Have a munch of that. He fished out more Snozzcumbers from the sack and threw them and threw them down. The giants below held cursed BFG, laughed as it serves them right, left, and century. He said, what will we feed them on when the cumbers are all used up? The queen asked him. There's never been used up, Magister, the BFG answered, smiling. I's also bringing in this sack a whole bundle of cucumber plants which I is giving, with your permission, to the royal gardener to put in the soil. Then we's having an everlasting supply of this repulsing food to feed these thir- thirst, thirst, bloody giants on. What a clever fellow you are, the queen said. You are not very well educated, but you are really nobody's fool. I can see that.